Good evening. It is time for the NFL Week 12 edition of the Iman Report. If you like what you see, give a big thumbs up and please be kind and hit that subscribe button. It is Wednesday night, November 25th, the night before Thanksgiving, and we are thankful that we will have at least 2 games of NFL tomorrow. Unfortunately, the Steelers and Ravens on tomorrow night was pushed back to Sunday. Now we are going to start off with the Detroit Lions and the Houston Texans. Detroit playing on Thanksgiving for millions and millions of years. Detroit disappointing for millions and millions of years. Houston coming off a big win over the New England Patriots last week. Deshaun Watson playing some really good football last week against the Patriots defense. And now plays a defense that is not nearly as good as New England's. Granted, New England's defense is not that great this year, but Detroit's defense is even worse. Detroit, how hurt is Matthew Stafford? Stafford laid a goose egg last week against the Carolina Panthers with PJ Walker starting. So you got to wonder how healthy Matthew Stafford is going into this game. Vegas is favoring the Texans by 3 points. But I think this is anybody's game to win. I have no confidence in Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia is dead man walking in Detroit at this point. I think Patricia has lost the locker room. And Detroit might start mailing it in at this point. Houston, maybe they want to finish strong so they can court Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy and Deshaun Watson. That could be a good fit for Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson has still been a very good quarterback despite the lack of weapons and talent around him this year. Who wins? This is one of those games that is truly a toss-up. Detroit is a very inconsistent team. Houston's defense is not good. This could be a shootout between Stafford. It could really come down to a shootout between Stafford and Watson. Watson, the better quarterback at this point, so I'm going to go with Houston, but I am not confident that they will about this one. The other game on the docket, Dallas, the Washington football team against the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas and Washington both thankful to be alive in what is a very terrible NFC East race going into the playoffs. How many wins will the winner of the East have? Will it be 6? 5? We get to see the trashy affair on Thanksgiving between two very trashy NFC East teams. Washington looking a little better with Alex Smith at quarterback. Smith, a good game manager. Dallas, they get Andy Dalton back. Andy Dalton had a good game last week against the Minnesota Vikings. Ezekiel Elliott got on track last week against Minnesota. Who wins? This is one that's another toss-up game. The odds makers are favoring Dallas by 3. And Dallas does tend to play up on Thanksgiving Day. I'm going to go Dallas, but I am not confident about this one. I'm not confident, but the winning team, whoever wins this game, is going to maybe be on the inside track of winning the NFC East at 4-7. Sad state of affairs. Next up onto the Sunday games. In what could be one of the games of the week, The rematch between the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts, the 3-point favorites at Lucas Oil Stadium. The Colts were able to go through that defense like butter on a knife. The Titans' defense is not good. Tannehill's got the Titans' offense has been better as of late. Derrick Henry's been better as of late. But Frank Reich, that coach is a wizard. I am seeing him turn back the clock on Phillip Rivers. Rivers was able to outduel Aaron Rodgers last week in Indianapolis. And of course, you've got specs at quarterback, Rodrigo Blankenship, who can win a game for you. Blankenship brings the Colts confidence and hope. Unfortunately for the Titans, their kicker has not had a great year in Steven Gostkowski. Who wins? This is one Tennessee needs if they have any hope of winning the NFC South at this point. If the Colts sweep the Titans, Tennessee is going to be hoping for a wild card bid. Who wins? I've got to go Colts. Colts are going to win. I'm not confident they'll cover, but I think the Colts are going to win this game. Colts are just too good. They're too talented on defense. Colts are going to win this game, get to 8-2, and Colts are going to be on the inside track of winning the AFC South after Sunday's game. Next up on the docket, the Carolina Panthers against the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings, the 3.5-point favorites. PJ Walker starting again at quarterback. I think it's going to be Bridgewater this week. But unfortunately for Carolina, they are bad at stopping the run, and this could be a good game for Dalvin Cook to get back on track. Can Bridgewater win a shootout? That's going to be a question. Can Mike Davis get going? Will they get Christian McCaffrey? That's another one right there. McCaffrey might be back for this game, so this is going to be a toss-up here. I'm going to go Minnesota. Minnesota's at home. Minnesota's a 3.5-point favorites. Carolina cannot stop the run, and Dalvin Cook is going to be able to run all day. Dallas played great last week, but Carolina cannot stop the run. So this advantage Minnesota. Minnesota gets the win. Next up, the Los Angeles Chargers against the Buffalo Bills. The Bills, the 5.5-point favorites against the Chargers. Chargers getting their third win last week against the Jets. Buffalo coming off a bye after losing to Arizona a couple weeks ago. This might be a game where Josh Allen's going to look to take out some anger on somebody, and the Chargers might just be those punching bags that the Bills are going to be happy to have this week. I expect the Bills to be motivated. I expect to see Josh Allen have a really good game. Stephon Diggs to have a good game. Buffalo's going to win. Buffalo covers. Next up, the Cleveland Browns against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Browns, the 6.5-point favorites. The Brownies defense did great last week against Philadelphia. But it looks like Jacksonville is going to make another change at quarterback this week. Mike Glennon is going to be the starting quarterback for the Jaguars after Jake Luton's struggle last week against Pittsburgh.
It's Black Friday now, only at Target.
Luton continued to get worse and worse in the 3 games he started, so they went to but it looks like Gardner Minshew is not going to be ready to start, so they are going with Mike Glennon at quarterback. Is it going to matter? No, it's not. Cleveland's defense is going to be able to shut them down. Could be another good game for Nick Chubb. He'll get the ball running. Baker's not going to have to do much in this game. It's going to be Cleveland. Cleveland wins. Cleveland covers. And Cleveland will continue to be looking at a playoff bid. In Cincinnati, the Ryan Finley Cincinnati Bengals go up against the New York Giants. New York coming off a bye. New York's looked good as of late. Daniel Jones has looked better in the last few weeks. New York's found a little bit of a run game. New York is well coached. Joe Judge has actually been a decent coach for the Giants. And this is one where I think the Giants are the 6-point favorites against the Bengals. Cincinnati starting Ryan Finley. Finley did not look good in his relief appearance last week against... Who did they play last? Now we're getting a brain fart on who Cincinnati played last week. Washington. And it looks like the backup this week for Cincinnati will be Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen will back up Ryan Finley on Sunday. It would not be a total shock if we see Brendan Allen replace Ryan Finley at some point if Finley continues to struggle at quarterback. But I think New York's going to win. New York's going to cover this one. In the Big Apple, the Miami Dolphins play the New York Jets. Miami, the 7-point favorites in this game. Miami coming off being trapped in Denver in a game where Tua was mercy pulled for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Tua will start against New York. This is going to be a good game for Tua to get back on track. The Miami defense will play much better. They're not up at high altitude. I'm going to give them a little bit of a pass since they were in Denver. Denver, the altitude can do teams in sometimes. But I think Miami's going to be angry. They're going to go out and take some anger on the Jets. Miami's going to win. Miami's going to cover this one. In Atlanta, the Las Vegas Raiders take on the Atlanta Falcons. The Raiders, the 3-point favorites in this game against Atlanta. Atlanta's defense is not good at the secondary. This could be a game where Derek Carr goes off and finds Hunter Renfrow. We could see a lot of Hunter Renfrow, Henry Ruggs. I think Derek Carr is going to have a. Atlanta's not going to be able to stop Derek Carr. And of course, they've got Josh Jacobs. Jacobs, a great running back. But the good part is, I think Matt Ryan will be able to rebound against the Raiders. This could be a shootout. I think this could have the makings of a shootout. But I don't think Atlanta has the horsepower to stop the Raiders. Give me Raiders! Raiders win. Raiders cover the 3-point spread. In New England, what could be a potential upset at Foxborough? The New England Patriots take on the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals coming off a loss against the Seattle Seahawks. Cardinals traditionally do not play well in the Eastern time zone. This has all the makings of an upset right here. It'll come down to if the Patriots are going to be able to stop Kyler Murray from running or not. Kenyon Drake's been hit or miss all year. The Cardinals' defense is inconsistent. Cliff Kingsbury, I think, is an overrated coach. But granted, Patriots' defense has not been great, so this could be a game, though, too, where Kyler Murray could go off if the Cardinals actually wake up here in the Eastern time zone. This could be a game where Kyler Murray runs all over the Patriots' defense. But I think this is one where we see upset. The favorites in this game are the Cardinals by 2.5. Patriots upset the Cardinals in Foxborough. In Pittsburgh, the Baltimore Ravens take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers, a perfect 10-0. The Ravens, currently the 7 seed in the wild card if the season were to end today. This is a must-win game for the Ravens if they do not want to start falling out of the playoff race. The defense needs to bear down. This is a game where we need to see Lamar Jackson start learning to throw the football. The pressure's on Greg Roman. The play calling's got to be better if Baltimore wants to make the playoffs here. This game was originally supposed to be on Thanksgiving. Game moved to Sunday due to COVID. Hopefully we don't have too many more of these COVID issues. I've got a feeling this one might be upset. I might take the Ravens here in an upset. Baltimore hands Pittsburgh their first loss of the year. At SoFi, the San Francisco 49ers against the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams looking to extract revenge after the 49ers beat them a few weeks ago. 49ers still without Jimmy Garoppolo, Nick Mullins starting. But they do get some reinforcements back. They get Deebo Samuel back. The bad news is they lose Brandon Ayuk to the COVID list. But the most important thing is they get some reinforcements in the running game. They get Raheem Mostert back. They get back Jeff Wilson Jr. That's going to help. They also get K'Wan Williams back, who gets his suspension rescinded for PEDs. Whether or not that's going to be enough, I don't know. I kind of think the Rams are 7-point favorites. I think the Rams are going to win. I'm going to go with the Rams. I'm not confident they're going to cover the spread. In Denver, we've got the Taysom Hill and the New Orleans Saints going to Mile High Stadium to play the Denver Broncos. Broncos coming off an upset of the Miami Dolphins. And this could be a trap game for the Saints. Taysom Hill had a great debut at quarterback last week for the Saints. But this could be a game where the altitude could play a factor, just like it did to the Dolphins. Denver's defense, when it shows up, is very good. Drew Lock, though, can be inconsistent. Last week we saw the flashes of the good Drew Lock. Question is, will he back it up with another good game? I'm going to go pick Broncos here. I think I'm going to take Denver in this one. Denver tends to play better at Mile High. I think the altitude might get to Taysom Hill in this game. Give me the Broncos. On to Tampa Bay, where the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last week on Monday Night Football, Tom Brady exposed as a fraud. And we are really starting to see the beginning of the end of Tom Brady's career. Brady has struggled against good teams this year. This might be one where we might see Tom Brady lose consecutive games. And a Buccaneers loss combined with the Cardinals win could push the Buccaneers down to a 7 seed, which is not exactly where they want to be going into the stretch run. I think Kansas City is going to have them. They might be able to slow down Mahomes. But Brady's regressing is going to cost him. Brady has struggled. Fournette's starting to struggle. And also there is also a real possibility that there is a divide between Bruce Arians and Tom Brady, and it wouldn't shock me at the end of the year if Bruce Arians decides to retire and conveniently Tom Brady brings in Josh McDaniels next year to be the head coach. We shall see what happens in this one, but I don't trust a regressing Tom Brady. Give me the Chiefs. It'll be Patrick Mahomes. Chiefs win. Chiefs cover the spread. In Green Bay, the Green Bay Packers, the 8.5 point favorites against the Chicago Bears on Sunday Night Football. I'm going to see who's the starter this week for Chicago. It looks like it's going to be Mitch Trubisky starting for the Bears. So that could help if Chicago wants to pull an upset on Green Bay. Chicago has a really good defense. If Chicago wants to win, they don't just need to have Mitch Trubisky start, but they need to let Mitch Trubisky run. Mitch Trubisky is a good runner when you let him run the ball. Matt Nagy has ruined Mitch Trubisky's development in Chicago. This is a must-win game for Matt Nagy. If Chicago loses this game, there could be a coaching vacancy and a GM vacancy in Chicago come 2021. Who wins? I think Chicago's defense is going to be able to shut down Aaron Rodgers. I think this is a game where Chicago upsets Green Bay. Yes, upsets this is going to be upset week in the NFL. I think I'm taking Chicago to upset the Packers with Mitch Trubisky running the ball. And the Monday night game, the Seattle Seahawks against the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia, unfortunately, sticking with Carson Wentz. Wentz has not been good all year. I have no confidence Carson Wentz is going to have a good game against Seattle. This might be a game where Seattle's defense actually looks decent. But could they play well enough that we see Wentz benched for Jalen Hurts? Honestly, Jalen Hurts should start for Philadelphia at this point. Right now, we've got a very frazzled quarterback in Carson Wentz. Philadelphia's defense has not been good all year. This is going to be a game where Russell Wilson's going to have all day. Carlos Hyde's going to go off and run for some yards. Seattle favored by 5. Seattle wins. Seattle covers. Now it's the sad part of Thanksgiving this year is usually we have our rivalry college games this year, not this year, unfortunately. And college is sadly in danger of needing to be paused, or we see the playoff pushed back. Hopefully that does not happen. But please keep your gatherings small this Thanksgiving. Please just try to use common sense. Wear a mask when you're out. Keep gatherings small. Stay 6 feet apart. Let's do our part to try to not make this rise any worse than it has to be for between now and Christmas. Everybody have an awesome Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble.